Students, your time has come. I have decided that it's time to share some of my knowledge with you. That's right. Do you want to become a true legendary professional wrestling character? Do you want to learn how to project your voice, to enunciate, to come up with the greatest promos that you possibly could? Then you need to join me each and every week for just $50. I am hosting a masterclass on Zoom. That's right. You don't have to travel. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. I will teach you how to become the greatest character you can be. I will help you discover who you truly are. I will help you with taglines, promos, etc., etc. Join me for just $50 a week in a masterclass of wrestling character development. There's a reason they call us the masters of wrestling. And there's a reason they call you the master students of the masterclass. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another eventful, exciting, entertaining, energized episode of Masterclass Live. I am the Master Emir, joined by one of my co-stars this week on this very special edition. Ladies and gentlemen, former NXT Tag Team Champion, the Fixer himself, Mr. Martin Stone.
And how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing absolutely swimmingly because, you know what? We hate to say we told you so, but we told you so. Okay.
We told you so.
The news has hit, Martin. The news has hit. Triple H is reveling in, guess what? The brand new Saudi Arabia WWE offices. It is public now. It is happening.
I bet they can get those work visas through real quick now.
Yep, indeed. Now they've got their base camp over there. It's kind of like, you know, if you've got a business in Las Vegas, you know, people open up businesses in Nevada because they escape taxes and all that business and stuff like that. So now they got their offices over there in Saudi Arabia. It's just going to make the whole transition of power that much easier and quicker, my man.
Yep. So again, interesting tidbit. It was always easier for WWE to get work visas for foreign talent in England than it was here.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's going to be easier for them to get to Saudi, right? Because Saudi wants to populate that entire area. They want the Americans. They want them to come over there to enjoy their new Pinocchio Adventureland, as it were, as I was calling it.
The keys to the kingdom of the new Las Vegas is what that's going to be.
Keys to the kingdom, indeed. Speaking of keys, we are going to be joined now by our other co-star, the man himself, ladies and gentlemen, former WWE Tag Team Champion, part of one of the greatest eras of WWE. Of course, he also appeared in AEW with those two imposter runway fashion models, those two punks that are evading me, that are afraid of us. Well, they're afraid of us, Martin, MXM. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the stylist himself, Rico Cosentino.
Rico. Hello, boys. Mr. Stone. There you go.
How are you doing, sir?
Good. Yourself?
Very, very good.
Good.
Rico, you are looking stylish. Look at those chops. Look at those burns, my man. Look at that. And the hair.
Perfectly trimmed.
Just the hair.
Look,
You know what you've done, Rico? You've combined the Adrian Street Rico with the stylist. The hair and everything.
He's just the stylist. There is no Adrian Street right now. Look at him. Looks amazing.
And I tell you what, and Rico, tell the viewers again, what age did you just turn? You're looking good at this age. What age are you, Rico?
I'm 64 and a half.
64 and a half, and look how stylish she's looking right there, everybody. Right there. Man, Rico, you're looking good. Rico, Martin and I were just talking about the news has hit. Triple H has unveiled the new WWE offices in Saudi Arabia, my friend.
I can't believe it. We talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
It's happened.
Yep. I don't know what's going to happen now. We're going to project our fan base and go with the Saudis.
See, this is where I'm at a crossroads. Like, are they going to have? Is the company going to suggest, hey, you all need to move to Saudi, right? Or are they going to try and run weekly in the States and then run all the main shows in Saudi? Like, I just see it that, like, especially with Raw, is he Raw not ring announcer? Corey Graves, one of the commentators. I don't know if he's on Raw or SmackDown, but he's now just been unveiled that he's a professor at one of the universities. So he's allowed to be a professor at a university, plus he can still work on his commentating. So for me, is that them saying, hey, abandon ship because this is all going to be gone soon? Or is it's wild? It's wild to think about that we're going to be in a time period where WWE is a completely different entity than what we're all used to. It's going to be, I don't know.
Rico, do you think WWE can survive in Saudi?
Gosh, that depends. Audience-wise, I don't think so. From what we saw of how their custom is, you got to respect their custom. You just can't go in a building and expect people to show up and then break their custom.
Of course,
you're on their land. So I really don't know. There's missing pieces here.
Yeah. Well, Rico, the other day, we were fortunate enough to have a conversation with Ben Hameen, a world of knowledge. Shout out to Ben if you're watching this podcast, a new member of our extended family here, the Renegades in the podcast realm. Well, actually, the Truth Bearers. I will dub us the Truth Bearers in the world of professional wrestling. That's what we are, the leaders. Yeah, you remember back in the day when Vince would say the leader in sports entertainment? Yeah. Well, we're part of that circle. We're the leaders of the podcast realm. That's what it is.
Podcast entertainment.
Podcast entertainment. But Ben was telling us there's this consensus that the Saudis want to acquire Netflix, Rico. They want to own Netflix now. Not just WWE. Okay. They want the whole pie, Rico. All of it. So
the whole tamale, as we'd say down south.
The whole tamale. Yeah.
Maybe this is their back door to it. Because Netflix just purchased WWE, are they going to bite chunks out of Netflix and, get it to where they're the major shareholder and then push everybody out? Now you're getting into stock market stuff and corporate takeover, whether it's hostile or agreeable. That's not my realm.
But gentlemen,
short knowledge on that.
But gentlemen, what do you do in a situation like this? I mean, again, Saudi Arabia have money just basically bubbling up to the surface of their ground every day. It rains gold in Saudi Arabia. They have more wealth, more power than the United States. It's a fact. Right? They have more. They've got those oil fields. They've got money galore. So can anybody else
there?
Because of what, Rico?
Can anybody what?
No, I said because of what, Rico? You said because of
I was letting you continue because you froze a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, because of their natural resources.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just not oil. It's other natural resources that they have that is a world commodity, and who they trade with and who they sell their product to. It's created more trillionaires, and some people just don't think, and or somebody's speaking into somebody's ear, me now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but why do you have so much interest in an American company that was built here in America? What are you trying to do? That's me looking at the worst. Now, I always, just from my ADD, I always think the worst thing first, and then as the facts go backwards.
Yeah.
So my thing is, what is their goal? Why do they don't even have professional wrestling in Saudi without them.
Right.
So Ben brought up a fantastic scenario, right? So if Saudi are trying to buy Netflix, Netflix they've branched out. They have wrestling, right? They have boxing. They're branching
They
out
have
into.
UFC.
Not yet. Well, technically, I mean,
Paramount.
they will have
Paramount.
UFC because obviously it's TKO, right? So in
Right.
a roundabout way. So let's say they've got wrestling, they've got boxing. They're potentially going to have mixed martial arts. Netflix are at this point in time looking to acquire American football. All right. So now by buying Netflix that's trying to get live sports, you now have an entire brand and package that you can literally plop in the middle of a desert, just like Las Vegas. So now we're going to start to, as Ben was saying, we'll start to see Cirque du Soleil, Broadway, just casinos.
Wait a minute, Martin. Did you say Cirque du Soleil?
Through gritted teeth. Don't worry.
Because, many of the stars in WWE and AEW are performers in Cirque du Soleil these days. So it's not a far stretch.
NXT, we had to go down and train with guys that were from Cirque du Soleil. We had to go and do all the stuff on the trampolines. And I'm not going to say the coach's name, but I watched a coach knock himself out.
Wow. Twice. What did you say, Martin? What did you say, Rico?
Sorry, Rico.
I said they already got the acrobats down. Now we just have to teach them to act. They can flip all over the place. I've been to Cirque du Soleil. But now, what are they gonna have? What was that at WCW? They had 2 rings put next to each other, and wrestlers were fighting in 2 different rings.
Yep.
I've done that. It's not fun. Oh, War games. Yeah, 2 rings is not fun. It's not fun.
And you're splitting the audience attention.
Yep.
They're like watching a tennis match.
Yep.
Doing this.
Yep.
They could have one of their favorites in this ring, one of their favorites in that ring, and it's like a Mike Tyson fight. You turn your head for a second, and the guy's knocked out.
Yeah. No, it's true. But I think the Saudi thing is that, to me, it's very disturbing because, well, number one, it proves to me that dear Uncle Paul, wasn't as passionate about professional wrestling as he's maintained he was. Because if he was, he'd maintain the integrity of what brought it here. He wouldn't just sell out. Martin, what do you say?
To that point. So WWE have a working relationship with TNA.
Total nonstop.
Is it a case of let's sell what's going to make us the most amount of money, and now I can literally come in, kick out every single person I need to because we have a working relationship, and then he can play booker promoter again, just like he did in NXT.
So what you're predicting, Martin, is Rico, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he's saying that there could be a hostile takeover of TNA. Yeah. I mean, what do you reckon? What are your Ricos? Do you reckon that's a possibility, Rico?
Well, depends how much they get paid. They can retire off $20 billion. Or if they want to continue the wrestling business, then they, like WWFE, hostily took over WCW. And in a vicious, somebody could be going after TNA, AEW, maybe Tony Khan, because the ratings have been down.
Yep.
Maybe Tony Khan will cut his losses and just go, I can't do this. I tried it. I can't. Here, offer me so much money and you can have it. And then they turn that AEW into a spinoff of WWE here.
Yeah.
Still, but the Saudis got, when they buy WWE, they buy everything, the library, everything. So now they got to work from ground zero.
Yeah.
But do they, though? Because they already have a television-ready product. All the stars are like, when you go to the Saudi shows, yes, the Royal Rumble wasn't sold out. It wasn't rammed. But every single person in Saudi Arabia now knows who is what on that show. So they've already literally put a package in a box and put it with a bow and gone, whenever you want to buy it, So
You
for
know,
me,
yeah,
I'm
but-
like, you've already got ready-made stars. So I
Well,
think
it's a plug
Yeah.
and play, plug
Yeah.
and play organization. You
Yeah.
know,
It's-
just plug it
yeah.
into the news, and it plays itself. Already has
Yeah.
its reputation and everything. Maybe they'll start broadcasting it. See, all over Saudi Arabia that they got it to start, saying come to the arenas. I'm pretty sure the ticket prices will be low at first, and then they'll start to rise again as popularity
Yeah.
takes hold. But that leaves still, what do we have in America? AEW, TNA. Which,
So this is my thinking. Again, you worked with Hunter on a in-ring level. I only worked with him of him being my boss and, oh, hey, we're going to do this with you tonight. So obviously you've got more of a feeling as to how he was in terms of his ego, his stature, his prowess, whatever. Okay.
he was very egotistical, Martin. As I said, on a personal level, hanging out with my Uncle Paul, he was very egotistical, but continue.
Okay. From my vantage point, from someone that now has to implement himself onto the latest video game cover and have his chest AI'd, I can't see him wanting to sell that company and going, okay, I'm done with wrestling now. From an ego perspective, I can see him wanting to come in, removing who he needs to from TNA and going, this is mine.
Yeah.
Rico,
give me 1 second. It's getting hot over here. I got to turn on the fan.
All right, absolutely. This heat everywhere. By the way, while we get this little moment, shout out to my dear tag team partner, my brother up there in Canada, recuperating from his chemo reaction. He's back home now. The Bracious Suave, Matthew Jacobs, our co-star, my dear co-star. He's at home watching right now. He's recuperating. He should be back with us in the next couple of weeks. He's just getting his strength back. Thank you for your prayers. They have been answered. Miracles have happened, and Matthew's doing well. Also, make sure you smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Don't be a coward. Step out of the shadows and into the spotlight. Share this video with your friends and family. Hit the like, hit the notifications bell. Join and become a channel member for just a price of a cup of coffee. It's $4.99 a month. You spend that more on a cup of coffee at Starbucks probably every day. Invest that here on the Masters of Wrestling. You're going to get A-class content, special guests galore. You'll get our members-only section videos. You'll get a question answered on every single live stream, a shout-out. And also, load up your super chats. Today, we want you to get involved with the conversation. If you want to ask us a question and you want to appear on the screen and you want us to discuss it, you got to hit that super chat. It keeps us going. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. I just wanted to get that out there. Rico?
Oh, well, I was just putting my earphones back in when you were giving that great promo speech. And I thought I heard, all right, step out of the shower and hit that subscribe button. I said, what'd he say?
Yeah. Step out of the shadows.
Shower. Oh, the shadows.
The shadows. The shadows, my man. Oh my
I was hoping you, man. I was like, God, people are wringing wet going to their computer.
Well, I tell you what, hopefully we don't have any wringing wet saps watching us here, because this is where the masters of wrestling congregate, right here on this channel. We don't have any time for any of that, the other nonsense here. But yeah, I just think that I think it's interesting about the whole Triple H thing. Before we move on from this topic, I spilled the beans to the wrestling fans before when Ari Emanuel's company, William Morris. Rico, you're familiar with William Morris. You and I both worked in Hollywood. Okay, yeah. So William Morris hostily took over a talent agency called Endeavor, which then formed what? WME. William Morris Endeavor, who formed TKO. They are the shareholders. They are controlling partners, right?
So going with that platform.
Okay.
Put WWE in place of Morrison.
Yes.
But how did that work? I mean, that's how I used to solve crimes. Get the MO, modus operandi. Yeah. What happened in the past? How did somebody do this? How can we match it? Can we put the puzzle pieces together?
Yeah.
and find out what's going on. Now, all of us have got to do research now. That just popped in my head.
Yep.
Because there's always been hostile takeovers or just beat the person down till they say I give.
It's business.
Oh,
Yeah.
quick, one second. Correct me. It was Endeavor that took over William Morris. My mistake here. So one of my members, one of our viewers corrected me. Yes, it was Endeavor. So Endeavor with the younger talent agency, William Morris with the old guard. They were the professionals. These were the young whippersnappers, the upstarters, Endeavor. They came in with a hostile takeover move. So again, now I can see what you're saying. You know, you are who you hang out with, right? Okay, that we know that statement, all right? So they've already got a track record. The owners of WWE have a track record of doing this. They know how to hostily take over a company. I do believe they did it
since the 80s.
I do believe they did it to Vince McMahon. I do believe they forced him out of the company. I think they could have crushed that news article and the lawsuit, and they chose to let it go through just to push him out. And I believe the same thing could be said. You bring in TNA, Total Nonstop Assholes, the weaker company, one of the most pathetic companies in the United States. You bring them in. You know, we've talked about why the slave labor and the illegal activities they get involved with.
That is begging for anything.
Yep, exactly.
Well, look at the comments. Since you did that, we got cap letters going up and down.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that.
I can't see the chat.
They said I never thought of that. Never. And then they used Janelle Grant to get rid of Vince. You know, ouch. I thought WWE sold UFC to TKO. People they're understanding this, and we're hitting some buttons.
Yep.
You know, and you know, that's how my mind thinks.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
like a cop, you know, investigator. So
there's a lot more to that meets this story than meets the eye. Like I said, if you look at the history of these talent agencies, ladies and gentlemen, I like to call them carpet baggers because they sweep in and they get a percentage of people who actually have talent. All right. So they
used to be 10%. I think it's up to 15, 20 now.
I think it's 15 or 20% they get of every one of their paychecks, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
So can you imagine getting 20% of all the top stars plus the company revenue every single year? It's a lot of money, especially a $20 billion plus sale. It's a huge commission right there. It's like a real estate agent, except for a million times sleazier. But nonetheless, if you look at that, I think they forced Vince out. They let it happen. So he had to leave. They gained control over it. Then they've already been setting up this whole Saudi thing. They probably got the idea when Vince first went there years ago.
With salute the troops or stuff like that. Remember when that was going on?
Yeah.
When they were going overseas to do wrestling shows, salute the troops.
Yep.
Now things are rolling in my head faster than I could spit them out my mouth. First, they got rid of Shane.
Yeah. Well, Vince didn't allow Shane to take over. Remember that?
Well, somebody speaking in his ear. Why wouldn't you let your son take over your company?
True.
You know?
Because Shane's a good guy.
Yeah.
Well, business-wise, personally, he didn't show me any love. I remember I was still doing dark matches, and I was practicing in the ring, you know, with Fit Fitley and stuff like that, and Malenko, you know, and then Shane was in there because he was going to wrestle that night. I don't know what brand, Raw, SmackDown. He was going to do the Shane O'Mac thing. Yeah. And he goes, Rico, come here. And I, of course, yes, Mr. McMahon. He goes, just want to tell you, you're going to be nothing but a flatbacker. You're never going to make it in this business. And I went, thank you, sir. Turned around, walked away. And then my work spoke for itself. But I'm just saying, I don't know where Triple H fits in this, you know, because he was originally dating China.
Yep. Yep.
Did you know that, Mr. Stone?
What, Shane was originally dating China?
No, Triple H.
Oh,
Triple H.
Yeah.
Triple H is dating China. And these are rumors. Okay, I didn't confirm any of it. But somebody was slipping somebody notes, either Stephanie to Triple H, which I believe is so after I give this next fact, or vice versa. But they took a liking to each other. And then as soon as Triple H committed, China was fired.
Yep.
So Stephanie got rid of her competition.
Yeah, funnily enough, I was watching something, I think it was maybe a week ago, and it came up. This was towards the end of China's life. And she said, like, I went through his phone and I found voice messages and just awful.
Yeah.
Awful that in her final, and again, this is coming from China. This is on YouTube.
Yeah.
But just to see that it's, I've been in that position when I've had someone do the dirty on me, so it's not a great feeling. So for her to, hear whatever voice message it may have been, I don't know. Obviously it wasn't played, but to find that's rough.
We got a question here from one of our loyal members of the channel right here. This is somebody who supports the channel. This is somebody who stepped out of the shadows and into the spotlight right here. This is Matt Bannister. Bonsoir, Mathieu. Comment ça va? He's a Frenchman, this man.
Oh.
Rico. Yes, he's probably from Paris.
Bonjour.
I think he lives on the Champs-Élysées, at the top of above some of those very expensive stores, Rico. This man is not a cheapskate. This man is a very wealthy man. Anyway, I have a question for the stylist himself, Rico. If WWE approached you for a GM role on either Raw or SmackDown, would you take it? If so, what character would you like to bring to that role? Good question.
Yeah, good question. The only way I would take that position if I was injured and could not perform anymore. That's the only reason why I'd take that role. And if I did take that role, depending on what they would tell me to do, I could still be the stylist and take that role. I couldn't be the Adrian Street character and take that role, but I'd have to go back from Adrian to the stylist and then continue with the sideburns and the flashy clothes, but I'd have suit and tie, and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
leopard skin suit and tie would be amazing.
Yeah. We got another question right here from another channel member. In fact, this is one of our contributors to the channel. This man gives us the JCW reviews, which we'll be going over a little bit later on in the show. This is from Maltz92. Muhammad, question for you, Rico, right here. Has Rico been watching JCW? Has he ever had any interaction with Vince Russo? Would he consider making an appearance in JCW? Rico, this is the hottest company in wrestling right now. This is sports entertainment personified, just so you know.
Okay, put that back up because I'm going to answer them right in a row.
We're going to put it right back up on the screen. Here we go.
No, I haven't watched JCW. I don't get it in Arizona. Yes, I've had an interaction with Vince like this, spoke to Vince. He gave me a lot of respect as I did him back. He's got a brilliant mind. And making appearance, I'm only 64 and a half. That's it. I can still go.
Yeah, you can still go. He's still got the sideburns to prove it, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, and I tell you what, fantastic. JCW, we're going to talk more about that in the next hour of this episode. Fans, you do not want to miss that. The hottest ticket in town. I put out a little short about it this week. If you have not yet seen JCW, we encourage you to go over there and watch it. You can find it on YouTube. Just type in JCW Lunacy. Catch up on what I believe is the last, probably only true sports entertainment professional wrestling company left in the mainstream right now. And they're accelerating. Rico, Vince Russo has increased that audience almost 600% in 10 or 11 weeks. That is what that man's mind has done for JCW. Fantastic.
Like I said, he's got the mind.
He does have the mind indeed. But I tell you what else he does have, switching gears, he has the bravado, and so do all the stars there, the talent, the people that work there. They have thick skin, unlike WWE. And in fact, one of their superstars in JCW recently came out and talked about what's her name again, Martin? I forget because she's forgettable. That female wrestler, Menendez, the one who shouted
Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez, the little girl who got offended by a fan at ringside, told them to F off. Yes, remember that, Rico?
Yeah.
So again, people like that, Rico, they wouldn't last 5 seconds in JCW with their fans. These wrestlers are weaklings. They're people that are triggered easily. And like I've said before, time and time, students, these are people that didn't get attention when they were children. They should seek out therapy, and the last place they should be is on national or international TV. I rest my case on that one.
We talked about that. I mean, if you're going to be a heel, you're supposed to be booed. You're supposed to be not liked.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I said this on a recent podcast. I could get, like, I'll give an example. Rey Mysterio match, Mohegan Sun, 19,000 people. Everybody in that arena was screaming Rico sucks when I was pounding on Rey. Yeah. Everybody. I got chills. And they were giving me this and a this and a that and you know, and shouting profanities and stuff like that. And you know, after I left, because I always leave back, and when I was out there, they all wanted my autograph.
Yeah.
And could you take a picture with us, Rico? Sure. But they knew, you know, and if you get a fan as a heel that riled up where he's cussing at you, you don't engage him close. You keep away because there's security around the ring. Yeah. If you can get that fan to jump the guardrail, you're really doing your job. It's not your job to cuss him out. I never cussed out a fan my whole career. Yeah. Never said a bad word to him. And, you know, I knew when they were, you know, when they had the fire in their eyes that, you know, to stay my distance, but still egg them on because it got everybody else egged on.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think I told you the worst thing I ever said to a fan is I was in the ring and all of a sudden I didn't even lock up yet. And Rico sucks was chanting in this arena. Oh. Rico sucks. Rico sucks. And I'm like, great, you know. And then this guy stood up and he meant it. You suck. And it wasn't Rico sucks. He's telling me, you suck. And he's standing up. So I got away and I turned my back on hard camera, you know. And then I looked at him and I put my head through the second rope and he yelled, you suck. And I said, and you swallow. Shoosh. And I got back in the ring and did the match. He didn't stand up once, but the camera never caught it. Mike's never caught it, but the people right around him heard me. Yeah. So I shut him up. But, you know, but he was just going overboard. You know, it wasn't just the Rico side. He was looking at me, making it personal.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't swear at him. I just said something smarter.
To that point, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong now. I think everybody wants to be the superhero. Everybody wants to be Captain America. Everybody wants to be the good guy and be loved. And I'm like, and I've always
like Cody Rhodes, like Stardust.
Like, any single like young talent I work with, and I always say to them, if you're the heel and you are getting, again, if you're getting a reaction like yourself, Rico, that is your pop.
Yeah.
Yep.
And guess what? That superstar babyface cannot get over if it's not for you getting that pop and getting that
exactly.
Reaction.
That's
if you are not getting that reaction, they can't be Captain America or Incredible Hulk or, you know, what, they can't be that character. And it's such a lost art. And just being the heel, it blows my mind how you get guys that want to be heels this day, but they're like, well, I've got to do something cool so I can sell a T-shirt. And I'm like, that's not being a heel. Like, that's not being a heel. It's
do you know how many T-shirts I sold in my whole career?
How many?
0.
Wow.
0.
But guess what? You were on the majority of the live events. You were always on TV. You always had TV time.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're on this podcast with you right now, and I'm looking at the comments. There is a lot of love for Rico in these comments. Everybody remembers you because guess what? You were a heel and you did your job as you are supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. As you're supposed to. And I tell you what, as you're supposed to, if you're tuning in and if you have not yet smashed that subscribe button, I don't know what you're waiting for. You need to hit it right now. It's free. Smash it. All right, make sure you join and become a channel member as well for just the price of a cup of coffee, and load up those super chats. We had a fan here say he sent a super chat and it wasn't answered. I have not seen any super chats come in yet. I'm watching it. I'm monitoring it on the side of the screen, so you may want to check that because I have yet to see anything pop up on the screen. If you hit a super chat and you got a question, we will, of course, bring you on the screen. That is the rules right here, so we'll be doing that. Or if you become a channel member and you sign up, you'll be getting your shout out and your question answered on the screen. So it all comes,
as the master says, step out of the showers and smash that button. I'll step out from the shadows and I'll smash the button.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Or essentially, rinse, stop being a wet rag, squeeze the water out, become a dry, solid rag.
You better come out those showers with a hairdryer.
I do. No. I do. Several of my servants.
I'm sure Rico has one for you.
Well, some of Rico's servants and some of my servants, they blow dry our hair. You've seen Coming to America, right?
Yeah. I mean, I do have the same problem, as you can see. So, you know.
Well, I got the cream for that. But I have a 24 karat gold hair dryer.
There you go.
Oh, and a 24 karat brush with porcupine squills.
Yeah.
It gets nice through the hair. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The porcupine, you don't have to rub and dig. You just brush it through.
It's like a hot knife to melting butter. Yeah.
Then you get this.
Yeah, that's it. And
massages your skull at the same time. Yeah. So you're just getting a treatment.
Yeah, that's it. And you're getting a treatment when you're here. Look at the education you're getting. Look at the mysteries that we're breaking down for you here, right here on the Masters of Wrestling.
Yep.
Incredible.
Stylist secrets. I got to pass them around.
Stylist secrets right here. But it all comes down to going back to this Perez woman. It all goes back to Rico. I think what happened is this disconnect of allowing people into the business who are not capable of the business. She's obviously not capable of being in it. All right.
Well, she wasn't trained fully. That's why. I mean, you can train somebody to do the moves.
Yep.
Even what? You got the monkey with the guy with the barrel. Ding, ding, ding. He goes out and grabs the money, puts it in a cup. Anybody can be trained to do moves. You know, it's how you do them. And if you're good at them, okay, that's one phase of professional, one phase. Then you got to get your character down. You know, that takes training. You got to get your promos down. You got to be able to talk to people and believe what you're saying. That's another training phase. And then you got to know how to give and take. You know, you can't win all these matches. Wins and losses don't count. You can't take it personally. My win-loss record, I don't know. I don't care. It's
Rico.
What?
Rico, wins and losses and PWI Insider counts. What do you call them? Stats. They do count actually in WWE apparently these days.
I know what you're going to say.
Okay, so in WWE Unreal, which is again, let's just expose the business as much as we might as well freaking put the final nail in its coffin. But
this made me feel so nauseous when I heard this.
Yeah, so they've got a board, and they're saying that some wrestler could never beat another wrestler because she's ranked lower on something equivalent to, dickhead Dave Meltzer. Yeah? Okay, so something to his stupid 5-star nonsense. Same thing. And these are supposedly intelligent people in WWE who have now believed. They have fallen into the trap to believe that it's all real. And now they're booking it as if it's real. They are delusional, Rico. Delusional.
I know. Okay. I was part of this, and so was another friend of mine in the business. Okay. Hurricane going against The Rock. Everybody thought Rock was going to kill him and crush him. But Rock put the Hurricane over during the match.
Yep. Made
him believable instead of just a cape superhero. And at the end, he let Hurricane go over.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to me after I did the wedding. I got to wrestle Ric Flair. And everybody in the audience, Flair is going to beat him. Yep. And then all of a sudden, I got my speech again.
I remember that.
1, 2, 3. And Rick put me over.
Yeah.
You got to do that in the business, Now, American Gladiators was something different. That was shoot, and that was going for money and the championship. So that was no calling that in the ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh, you know what? You know what? It would be a terrifying experience. You know, Uncle Paul has invited me on a number of times, numerous occasions, to go and hang out with him in the special the boxes overlooking the stadium shows and whatnot. And I've always declined every single time. Not since I was a kid did I go over there. But at the same time, it's like because it would be an embarrassment to be backstage with these people now, because like I said, who have bought into their own hype. They believe it's real, all of it, and they're conducting business as if it was a legit Olympic sport or a UFC event. You see this little jabroni in the chat right here, Rico. We're not even going to mention his name. Look at this. You see that, Martin? You see that little twerp right there, trying to instigate at the bottom right there?
Oh
yeah. Keep it up, pal, you little jabroni. Yeah. But again, you wish, you little twerp. But anyway, coming back to what I was saying, it's an embarrassment to be walking around backstage with some of these people. An absolute embarrassment in this day and age. Terrible.
And another thing, I'll bring it back up. I don't know if we discussed it live or not, but WWE is now charging veterans to get backstage when they used to work there. Yep. Veterans can help the younger people. I remember when I used to go back earlier, and I would talk to all the new people. They'd ask me what I did and how I did it and what was my, thought going into the ring, how to play the character and stuff like that. They all gave me respect. And even AEW, the whole locker room was just very kind. They said they loved those two characters, and they said, well, what did you do? And I gave them veteran advice. And that's what you do by keeping the veterans from coming back. You try to educate your new talent. Now you're charging veterans to come backstage at a company they supported with their body, their mind, their family, sacrificed everything. Now you're going to spit in their face and charge them ticket prices.
Exactly. That's what they're doing. They're sticking it to because again, these people that claim they love the business, that for years said they respected it, they truly do not. They respect it about as much as they respect you viewers out there. That's about as far as they respect it. They have exposed the business. Essentially, literally, I think it's safe to say WWE Unreal is literally killing whatever shred left of the magic was. They are killing it episode by episode. And again, I truly believe they don't have a say in the matter. I think it is the TKO that are pushing this with Netflix. Like I said, Rico, you know how these carpetbaggered agencies are, right? They say dance. Yeah. They say dance, and you have to dance for how long? They say jump, and you say how high, because they control. And I think that's the most devastating thing. I think even Tony Khan, believe it or not, Rico, has an agent now in Hollywood at the Paradigm Talent Agency. Can you believe that? A wrestling promoter has an agent in Hollywood? Is he an actor? Is he a movie star?
Well, right now, I think he's acting like being the owner of AEW. So I guess he needs an agent for him. Because
he needs a handler. He needs something. He needs somebody to comb his hair, Rico.
Yeah. Well, he needs some guidance because right now he's got an opening.
Yeah. Look at Martin up there trying to keep a straight face.
I am poker face, my good man.
That's good, man. But yeah, he is trying to, like I said, he got himself into some hot water. But another one of his talents that got himself into hot water. Now, I'm on the fence about this guy because typically I think this guy is a complete, total asshole, complete jerk. And I'm talking about MJF. I'm talking about Maxwell, old Maxwell. He's recently got himself into a lot of trouble recently with his mouth. Now, again, I'm told from certain sources that he's different backstage. Again, I've never encountered the guy. I hope I never do. But at the end of the day, people have said he's different backstage. I don't know. All I know is his character is getting him into a world of shit right now. He made a comment a few weeks ago that got him in trouble Now he went on a podcast or something, started talking about Trump getting into the political sphere, talking about the immigration issues in the United States, I guess Rico, he's jockeying, he's lobbying to get into Hollywood. I guess that's what it is, because, Hollywood personalities think they know about everything. They think they're climate activists and whatnot. So, Rico, do you think this damages MJF going down this realm?
Well, like I said, I've never met the guy. I don't know the guy. Maybe nobody is pre-reading his promos, or he's just coming off the cuff with anything he says. Mm-hmm. You didn't do that at WWE. No. The top stars, they got bullet points and they hit them in their promos.
Yeah.
But people like me, I was told to read off scripts and stuff like that. So everything wasn't offending or nothing like that. I mean, you had to go. Well, look what happened with CM Punk. Right. He went totally off the script, folded his legs Indian style, and sat there and rambled on the mic.
Yep. And he also trashed Tony Khan, by the way. Remember that in the media scrum where he completely obliterated the man who signed his checks and gave him a second chance?
This was also a man who said he would never wrestle in Saudi Arabia or wrestle for a company that promotes blood money. But, here we are.
Can you believe that? So, Rico, I didn't know about this. Martin, by the way, we got a bunch of people now watching us live. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that subscribe button right now. If you got a question, load up a super chat. Boom, smack it down there, and we'll answer your question. You got a question for Rico, for Martin, for myself, just go ahead and hit that super chat. That's what they're there. But coming back to what you said, tell us a little bit more about what former CM Punk, now renamed the Corporate Man, because CM only ever stood for Corporate Man. So what did he say about Saudi?
I'm just gonna go off of. So he was in a Twitter exchange with The Miz, and they were going back and forth, and then eventually Mr. Punk comes back with, go suck a Saudi you-know-what, blood-covered, blah, blah, and enjoy the money. Something along those lines about the money at the end of it. Mm-hmm. But the specific tweet at the start was, go suck a Saudi blood-covered you-know-what.
Yeah.
But now we have a man that's wrestled in Saudi that had to make a public apology about that, even though, he is the voice of the voiceless and essentially, I'm one of you guys,
Voice of the voiceless. I think you're talking about us. And I tell you what, anybody.
Yes, we are the voice of the voiceless.
Anybody who has the
time, this was in between when, was this before he got, I'm not going to knock his, he got into the UFC. He attempted to fight. I applaud anyone that wants to put on a pair of gloves. I've boxed, you know. I've done full contact martial arts, so I applaud anyone that wants to throw their hat in the ring. I think this was in between that time period of when he was let go, or whenever he walked in between he started fighting, when he hated World Wrestling Entertainment. Mm-hmm. So again, if you're a man of principles, which everything he exudes himself to be online in his promos, the way he carries himself, he is a man of principle.
Principle,
I guess when he talks as someone as
Rico.
No, go ahead. Mr. Stone, finish.
Just as one of the chat members is saying, money talks.
Yeah,
it does. Rico.
Now we were talking about earlier about people believing their own hype, that they are real shoot people. Yeah. Okay. The only one I see pull that off was Brock. So here goes CM Punk trying to go in like Brock, talking tough. And I'll tell you what, you get your bell rung several times, it's going to change your opinion. You're going to go, I think I'm going to crawl back to a safer paycheck. Because this me getting my bell rung hurts.
It's not fun. Yeah,
it's not fun. I tell you what, though.
Excuse me a minute. My favorite quote is by Mike Tyson. Everybody has an opinion until they get punched in the face.
Very, very true. But I'll tell you what I'd love to do. Anyone out there watching this who has the unfortunate pleasantry of being in a WWE audience sometime in the future, who happens to be the side where the camera is, you know where to find it. Basically, if you sit this side because you've been directed to sit that side, the camera's facing you, and the other side of the arena will be empty. So just look at that camera. I want you to hold up a sign saying the corporate man. And if you do it and you get on camera, I want you to send it to us, right? I want to see that corporate man poster held up in the air. Let's begin a trend here, the corporate man. And I'll send my bill to Phil himself for rebranding him. Thank you. You can thank me later, Phil, for that one. We got a super chat come in from Archie Lee. This is a great contribution of the show. This is one of our non-cheapskate fans right here for Archie Lee. No one star to face Drew outside of Fatu concerns. He's absolutely sure. I think you're talking about Jacob Fatu. Rico, have you had the pleasure of seeing Jacob Fatu? He's like an old school wrestler. Have you ever seen him yet?
I think he came to one of the events. I think he was in Vegas.
Okay. So you may have met him.
They took a video because of me and 3 Minute Warning, Rikishi, and Jacob was with their family and stuff like that going through. And he says when he debuts, he wants me to be there.
Wow. Well, I guess you're going to have to collect on that, Rika, because now Jacob Fatu is right up there at the top of the food chain. And obviously, as Archie's saying, pretty much WWE has 2 stars left. And that's Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. Everybody else on that list, I think it's safe to say LA Knight's time has done. The night has set upon his career. He's over. He's finished. All right. The amount of setbacks he has had, the amount of times WWE has crushed him, it's all over. You may as well ring the final bell on that guy, and he's done. Stick a fork in him. He's out of the way. But coming back to MJF, so there was another incident. And we're talking about being professional and staying in character and really entertaining the crowds. So I guess there was an event that took place, and I guess there was a hotbed of political activists in a certain town that AEW was in, and they started a chant, vulgar chant, while MJF was in the ring, and it involved the immigration, the president of the United States, what's going on, and it threw MJF off. Threw him off to such a point. First of all, he didn't have a quick-witted comeback because he's constant reaching for low-hanging fruit. I guess he ran out of low-hanging fruit. But now he's come out in the media and said, oh, no, I never got distracted. I was a professional. But yeah, it's clearly obvious that he did, and it threw him off. Now, Martin, I'm going to throw this up to you before we go to Rico. Say someone did come out with some profane chants, something political, while you were in the middle of the ring cutting a promo. Do you think you'd break? Or do you think you'd carry on right through it?
Are we talking live TV or are we talking a house show?
This was a TV. This was TV taping. This was for a Dynamite.
Okay, so TV taping. Okay, so for me personally, you also have to remember he is kind of restrained by TV. There's only so much you can say before it's okay. And the feet, there's only so much you can say. In that instance, if he just carried on his promo, then I would say that's the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
In this political climate, you can say one thing wrong, and that's it. Yeah. Like there's going to be not so much negative press for him, negative press for the company, and that's something you don't want.
But do you think? But hold on a second, Martin. I got to chime in here. Let's keep the conversation.
No, please.
Okay, Enrico, I'm going to bring you in on this. Tony Khan, does he really give a shit? Okay, you've had people like Tony Storm, degenerate that she is, come out at media. Hold on, Martin. She's a degenerate. Come out in a media scrum next to her boss and telling her mom to go and F herself, talking profane things about other women, suggest sexual deviant that she is, all these things. So do you think Tony Khan would actually care, considering he's allowed these other people to get away with it?
I just play the card of sexual innuendos, okay, it's not the greatest of things in the world. You can kind of push that past. Political stuff in this climate, in today's climate, I stay out of politics because
you can't control it anyway. It's nothing you're going to do.
It's out of our control. There's nothing we can do. So all we can do is pick a side or stay neutral. There's nothing else to it, right?
Or just get on with your own life, essentially.
Okay.
Focus on your own life.
So for me, if he just carried on his promo as normal and just went past it, okay. Now you're just going to stay in character and you are going to stay the course. Right. If it's a house show and if it's really vulgar and if it's aimed specifically at the talent, that's a whole different ballgame because now you're being personal.
Yeah.
And now we don't have the confines of TV. Now we don't have, the constraints of stuff like
censors.
That. Yes, we do live in a day and age of people with camera phones, but chances are on a house show in that environment when there's no live TV, the whole context of what's being said is going to be captured.
Yeah.
So I think again, every single part of me would want to bite back straight away. Trust me, if someone's hurling insults, that's I can't say racial because I'm a white male, but if it's in that vein, every part of me would want to bite back. But in some instances, you have to let that go.
Rico,
that's being a true professional.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to dictate to the crowd.
Yes.
The crowd doesn't dictate to you. So if you're out there to deliver a promo, you deliver that promo, and you try to get your points across. And if they get so loud that you can't talk over the mic, you drop the mic and you stand there.
Well, you know what happened to me.
Come back on the mic and say,
and then you continue.
I am the man that has the microphone who can speak louder than all of you right now. So you will hush and you will listen to me. And then they're going to come back and then they're going to start playing with it.
Yeah.
And then you play with them. See, my favorite thing when I was in OVW is I started it when the audience started to get loud and stuff like that. And I couldn't I'd go, shush, shush. Just like the guy did in Encino Man.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll do you one better. But I tell you what, we've got a lot of people in the chat. I know a lot of you have not yet hit that subscribe button, so I suggest you do it right now. I suggest you jump on, hit your wagon to this, the spearhead of professional wrestling right here in the podcast realm, the Masters of Wrestling. Hit that subscribe button. It is free. All you got to do is hit it, hit the likes, grab the link to this video, share it with your friends and family, spread the word. All right, and join to become a channel member. And, of course, engage in the conversation. Hit a super chat. We want to hear from you. It helps the conversation keep moving. To that point, though, one of my servants the other day suggested something quite radical, in fact, if fans get out of hand. They said, hey, you know what? Let them get out of hand. Because when they're trying to leave the arena, maybe they'll just get carted off. There's a guillotine waiting for them. But anyway, I digress. This is one way that you deal with an unruly fan at a show. So anyway, just saying. But speaking of political climates and all that kind of nonsense, all right, in wrestling, I heard something quite interesting. Hulk Hogan's likeness has been removed from his Real American Beer Company. Can you believe that? The company that he started. Now they have removed his likeness from it. Now, I don't know why at this juncture. Could be, part of the estate or something like that. I don't know. But if it's for any other reason, I think that's absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
Dishonorable.
Wow, that's got to be something to do with likeness and his estate, because there's no reason to take him off that beer.
No, it was his company.
That I feel that's someone owns something that they're trying to fight for, and because again, it's Hulk Hogan. Like, no matter what anybody thinks about him, at some point in time, we're here because Hulk Hogan paved the way for all of us.
Absolutely.
I don't care what anyone says about his in-ring work or whatever. Just we're all here because at some point we saw that man rip his shirt off and we all got excited.
Yeah.
So I feel that's something to do like with a trademark or a likeness or something like that. I don't see that being
Well, let's go deeper. Okay. Did Hulk start this company with WWE? Did they help finance him? Did he get in with a business partner that had a majority share? Yeah. There's a lot of things you got to consider here.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Well, they did, remember, because in fact WWE were helping him promote it on that episode of Raw when that disgusting crowd in that arena booed Hogan because obviously they're not educated in the fact that he brought wrestling to prominence. So they are a bunch of casual wrestling fans there. It's probably just a bunch of degenerates, but nonetheless. But they booed him. But at the time, I reflect back. This was something else that Ben, our dear buddy Ben Hameen, talked about the other day. Hogan came to that event. At the time, he was campaigning for Trump, if you recall, back then. Okay?
Yeah.
He wanted to wear a T-shirt that said "Make America." Yeah. But Netflix told him you can't wear that. But the irony is, WWE work for Trump. Triple H works for Trump. Linda works for Trump. Logan Paul loves Donald Trump, has him on his podcast. The Undertaker, likewise. So I don't get. This is the weird thing I don't get. This they're all working for the same person, the same entity. There's no difference, which leads us back to The Rock's daughter, the most awful actress on the planet, someone who will not ever be missed from WWE NXT programming. In fact, Martin and I have a very special, Martin, don't we? A members only episode all about Ava, because guess what, students? Martin was there when she first came into NXT, and he was there when she was training to be a wrestler. He was there, and he spoke with Ava's mom at length back in those days. So if you want to hear all about the truth regarding the Ava situation in WWE, not only are you going to have to subscribe, but you're going to have to join and become a channel member, because that video will never be made public. It's only for our members section only. Just price of a cup of coffee, and you'll get access to it and plenty more. But I see Red Fox in the comments. Good thing I'm a member. Want to give a shout out to Red Fox. He's my co-star on the Ultimate Truth podcast, the new podcast we're doing, all about the positives of the Ultimate Warrior. We got special.
Love it, Red Fox. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got it. We got a bunch of stuff there. So where was I going here with Hulk Hogan and the whole branding of the beer thing there? Rico.
Fix this colors bright.
Colors bright? What about him? What's he been saying here?
Read his comment.
Oh,
you can get rid of him.
You want to get rid of him? You want him off?
Yep. Off.
Okay.
You don't say
I've just seen that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. We can't go too far here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, dude. Guess what? Here's my promo. Drop the mic.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know. I'm looking at Larry 12398. I don't know whether to be offended or take that as a compliment. Martin Stone is the modern day version of Lord Alfred
Hayes.
I'd say that was a compliment, because Lord Alfred Hayes was very, very well spoken.
I give it a thumbs up.
I am certainly not well spoken. I tell you, I am proper free for footprints, as they would say.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You come across well spoken. You're a lot better spoken than a lot of these wrestlers in the current WWE product in AEW. I'll say that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Look at the other one. The other one says, Rico, are you hairy everywhere?
Oh yeah, these are a couple of perverts.
Rico, there is so much love for you in these comments, which is testament to that's testament to your in-ring performances. It's great to read. It really is.
Well, I will say I have hair, but I am well manicured.
Rico, you don't have to lower yourself to this degenerate level. I've already put him on timeout. Him and I guess he's got a friend here who's also another pervert. So they've been put on timeout. They're getting out of the chat right now. So don't worry.
Sorry, Amir, can I stop you right there? Just reading one of the comments.
Yeah.
At T. Tris Weathersby, Hogan's estate is being sued by a branding company. Likely has more to do with it.
There you go. Like I said,
there we go.
It's something that we are not aware of. Because there are copyrights, laws, trademark laws, everything like that. And what goes on after a person passes is sad. People get vicious. They try to take. Nobody's thinking about giving. And so we have to let this Hogan's beer sit level for right now until we can gain the facts. It's easy to go point at WWE. It's easy to go, oh, that beer company sold out Hogan. So let's not do that here. Other people will do that. Fake news will do that. So let's just keep it even until all the facts in. And it looks like our viewers here have some facts, like that gentleman there.
Yeah.
So it had to be something like that because there was just no reason to pull him off. Yeah.
No.
And listen to me. First of all, I want to comment on some of these people here. Again, I'm not going to bring your comment up on the screen unless you do a super chat. Those are the rules here.
Please do a super chat.
The same over on the Cafe de Linea with my tag partner Rene Dupree over there. And this man is saying I'm too serious. First of all, we need some serious in the world. Do we both agree, Martin and Rico? We need some serious in the world. Too many jokes have landed us in the pitfall that wrestling is in right now.
Right.
1,000%.
Well, like we said, everybody can hide behind a comment, behind a computer, and say something. To say it to somebody's face is something different. You can identify yourself instead of at whatever you're at. If you really have that feeling, we're not telling you don't have those feelings, but have respect for the channel, the other viewers that are viewing this. They don't need to see stuff like that has sexual connotations. That's just no class. You're below the bar, not above the bar. Here at the Masters of Wrestling, we try to be above the bar. I mean, we could go off on tangents and sexual innuendos and double entendres. We can do all that too. We've been in the business. I've been in the acting world. I've been in police work. Believe me, I got a lot of crooked comebacks for when I'm being insulted. But here is a place we'd like to inform you and our viewers inform us. We're trading information, important information, true information. So don't let your personal feelings get involved in what we're doing. Like with Color Guy, you didn't need to say that. You could think it, just don't type it. We're not saying don't have freedom of speech. You have it. And don't call. Time and a place. I am master, and tell them. Do it personally so nobody else gets offended. We don't know how many young adults are in here. It doesn't show your age here. But you got to have a standard. You have to have a bar, and that's what this show has, is a bar. And we do not go below that bar. So I know 99.9% of our viewers stay above bar, and they're interested in the conversation. They put their comments, and it makes us think some more. So we can get down to true things. Like I said, with the Hulkster beer and why they removed it. Like I said, there's underlying circumstances. It needs to be investigated, but it should come out. One of us or a fan, a super chat guy could say, hey, this is what I found out. They can email you at the Masters of Wrestling. This is what I found out. And that's how we get the truth out.
Well, we we got contributors. We got our dear channel member, Maltz Muhammad, who's given us the JCW review, which we're going to be going into in a little bit. Rico, you're going to love this because this is Vince Russo's new direction for JCW. It is a true leader in sports entertainment right now. I think WWE can no longer hold that distinction.
I don't think they're sports entertainment anymore at all. But before we get into that, I want to talk about another man who has a sordid past with WWE, a very lackluster career, a man who tried to bring in, how do I say it, Cirque du Soleil style wrestling, a man by the name of Ricochet, which is a pathetic name for a wrestler to have in the first place, a man who was basically canned from WWE, went to AEW because he had nowhere else to go, and basically flopped miserably there. But now he's trying to get back relevant, saying that taking shots at AJ Styles, a man who just retired from WWE in one of the most worst send-offs that you could ever imagine. Everybody knew it was coming, Rico. Everyone knew he was going to retire. They knew he was going to tap out. So who gives a crap when it actually happens? So anyway.
Do you know that AJ Styles had a match with me for a tryout with WWE?
Yes, he did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's right. He did. He had a tryout back in the day. He's come a long way. But now the rumors are that he's going to go to AEW. Martin, do you honestly think that AJ Styles is going to go to AEW? Come on.
Ultimately, that's going to come down to AJ. I think it was very poetic that he retired at the pay-per-view that he debuted on.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the fact that he didn't need a year-long send-off and just, hey, I'm done, so I'm gonna bow out now.
Mm-hmm.
Could he go? Of course he can. I'm pretty sure he still has matches left in him. Ultimately, his choice to retire is, it's in his head. It's his reason for wanting to go.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think he could turn up? Of course he could.
Yeah.
Of course he could. But it all depends on if AJ wants to or if he's genuinely done with wrestling. I've only been on a few shows with AJ Styles, and he was backstage when I was a part of 205, and he gave me some really good advice. He has an absolute unparalleled passion for the business.
Yeah.
So
I know he's a man of faith too. He's a decent man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And if he so chooses to want to be done with wrestling, then I believe he will be.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't want to be done with wrestling, then he won't be. So I think are there some matches that he could have with certain guys on the roster at AEW?
The Omega Man, Kenny Omega himself.
1,000%. There's a few guys on the AEW roster where he can
AJ
tie
Styles
all the loose ends to parts of his career. Kenny Omega's the first one because obviously the history of the Bullet Club in Japan and how AJ basically kicked Kenny out. So there's a ready-made storyline there.
Yeah.
So ultimately, if he decided to come back to wrestling, I don't think it would tarnish his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Again, as you said, it was he's wrestling Gunther. I guess we know what's happening.
And Gunther's going down the tubes real fast. By the way, if you got a question, ladies and gentlemen, students, you must hit a super chat, and we will bring it up on the screen. Rico will address your question, or myself, or Martin. You got to hit a super chat. Them's are the rules here. We got a bunch of people new people watching now in the stream. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button right now. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's free. And, you'll be much welcome here in the Masters of Wrestling, the juggernaut that is the truth in professional wrestling right here, the Masters of Wrestling. Coming back to AJ, Ricochet. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Rico.
AJ's only 48.
Yeah.
I just looked it up. He's only 48 years old. I started at 40.
Exactly. He's still got gas in the tank.
Yeah, I'm sure he's 3/4 tank full.
He made his SmackDown debut when he was 52.
Who did?
Finlay. He was 51. 50. He made his debut at at that age. So he's got plenty of gas left in the tank.
You know what it is, honestly, guys. Oh, I heard Tony Khan came out with a statement yesterday as well. I got to tell you this. Every time I love hearing about old Tony with his little backpack and his little action figures in the ring. He loves to play with his little toys, and then his dad combs his hair. But nonetheless, let me get into it. I see you, Martin. Martin, why are you so straight-faced?
I'm stoic.
Okay, interesting. Well, anyway, Tony Khan came out and made a statement the other day saying, first of all, he wants Britt Baker back. So I guess she's one of the AEW originals. I think she had a pretty good storyline back there, back when they actually were trying to create characters and story. But he made an interesting statement after that. He said, if you'll notice, I'm hiring a lot of younger talent. Big friggin' mistake. Big mistake. Now, we just talked about AJ Styles, 48 years of age. The man can still go. People, look at Billy Gunn my gosh, look at the physique. Look at conditioning.
I worked him 2-3 weeks ago, so yeah.
Yeah, and also, first of all, I never fished. I never even entertained the idea of AEW. Some jabroni in the chat right there. But nonetheless, I wouldn't want to work in an organization where there are a bunch of children that play video games backstage. But what I'm saying is now he's looking to hire younger talent. This is a problem. We all know that these younger people don't get it. I happened to see a match the other day. In fact, Martin, I sent you a clip of an indie show that I found. I'm not going to name names or where it was, but I watched a guy, literally Rico. He took a knee to the face, knelt down for all of 2 seconds. The other guy runs away from him towards the ropes, and as soon as he starts running, he runs at him. So the knee made no impact, nothing to him whatsoever. The concept of selling has gone out the window with these little fools.
Again, training.
Yeah.
It seems like they'll put them out as soon as they can do a correct arm drag, a body slam, hip toss, headlock, shoulder takedown, jump over. Once you got all the foundations done, they seem to put them out. You have to sell, because if a heel doesn't sell the face or vice versa, it makes no sense. It devalues the move.
Yeah.
And I made sure I sold for everybody. Punches become too much, the punching in the corner. Not everybody can take that many punches straight to the face and walk out. So you got to bring your punches down, and
Rico,
illegal. It's a forearm.
Rico, I've seen worse crap than that these days, my man. I've seen guys trading punches and then move to trading super kits. This is how pathetic. This is the young that Tony Khan is talking about. Immature video gamers taking their love for video games and putting it in a professional wrestling ring. These are meant to be adults, meant to be superhero characters larger than life. These are the types of dweebs that now he's ranting about. Go ahead, Martin.
But let me stop you right there. So the new guys that are at wrestling school when they're training, because for whatever great reason they have, they want to be pro wrestlers. I'm not going to fault them on that. I know when I was coming up, I would watch TV wrestling.
Yeah.
And I would try to mirror my style on that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I wanted to get to TV. And at the time, the only place to work was WWF.
Yeah.
That was the only place to work. So I tried to, I did my best to, okay, well, they're doing that and this is getting that reaction. I know I'm training and learning the basic moves, but this is kind of that direction I need to go in. Is the new generation at fault because what they're seeing on TV, they're doing?
The new generation is at fault, Martin, because like Ben Hameen said, our new dear friend, generation useless. They are not going back in time. They're not studying material from the past. Many of these guys, Rico, I'm sad to say, probably don't even know who you are, because that's how lazy they are. They don't go back in time. All they know is the last 5 years. And they think they understand wrestling when really all they're doing is Cirque du Soleil, gymnastics. In fact, I'd say, if I was running a wrestling school and I saw some of these little clowns come into my school, I'd say, hey, there's a gymnastics class down the street. Go down there. I don't want your money. All right. This is pro wrestling. This is not gymnastics. I'm creating role models, not friggin' flips and tricks. But anyway, I do get heated about this, gentlemen, because I think they are the reason a lot of these youngsters are the downfall for professional wrestling, because they don't convey believability. I've said it before. When I was writing, I was developing a show years ago, right, for a UK-based TV production company. And one of the things they said to us at that time was, if you're developing a kids show, right, for 13 or 14-year-olds. No, it wasn't 13. We were doing a show for aimed at like 11 or 12. Then your characters need to be aged above them, because your audience needs to look up. Why did we like James Bond back in the day? Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan. These were mature gentlemen. All right. They weren't whippersnappers. They weren't tweeners. They weren't young people that didn't look like they had any life experience, not one bit in them. So I think the same thing with wrestling. When wrestling was at its peak, you know, and we as kids were watching it, right? There were guys who legit looked like grown up men and conducted themselves like grown men, like you, Rico, right? We could tell that you'd already had life experience. We didn't even know how old you were. But we could tell it was in your eyes. It was in the way you talked. Billy Gunn, we saw that he had been through things in life. He was a grown man. And again, if you hire children who have zero friggin' life experience, the only experience they have is Call of Duty and video games, then you're going to get bullshit on your TV product. I'm going to end it right there. That's my rant done.
Okay. I go with Martin on this. I got to go back a little bit because you did a good rant.
Yeah.
Watching tapes. I have done it since I watched, because I was the second season of American Gladiators. And when I got picked to be on the show, and before that, I was watching the first season, which was the pilot season.
Yeah.
And I watched Nitro, Laser, Gemini, and they had Malibu and Titan. But they got fired, and they brought in two new guys, Turbo and Thunder. So I watched what Nitro was good at, Gemini was good at, Laser was good at, and I figured, well, these two guys are new, so my newness and their newness is going to even off.
Yeah.
You know, but one guy was 280 pounds, Thunder. Turbo was 260. I was only 218. So don't forget that super chat that popped up.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. And also, we got some more people on the stream now. So again, if you haven't already, do your super chats, leave comments, hit that subscribe button. We want you here as part of the Masters of Wrestling family. Hitting that subscribe button is free. Also, join and become a channel member. Anyway, Rico, back to what you were saying.
Yep. And so I watched, and that's how I got through American Gladiators, because I wasn't the best athlete. There were better athletes than me. Than I, however you say it. But I watched tape. Same thing when I went to Fort Boyard in France. I watched tape of that show, and I got what I was going to do. And then when I got there, it made sense. Wrestling, when I was beginning wrestling with Jesse Hernandez in EWF, I used to have a guy come and film while I practiced.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go back and watch the film. Oh, I did this wrong. I did this right. Oh, this shouldn't go here. This should go there. And when I got to OVW, Danny Davis gave me access to the library, videotape. And when I wasn't doing anything, I would be watching matches that OVW people were doing.
Yeah.
And I was, putting things together, their character, not just moves.
Right.
Their character, their selling ability, their promo ability. I was just sucking it in like a sponge.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And even my matches, the next week we got to see them, and I would sit in catering and watch everybody's match, but I'd watch mine and go, well, I could have done this. I could have done that. And I kept tweaking myself to get better.
Yeah.
And that is just so important. Like I said, you watch everything. You watch the moves, where they put the moves, their promos, how they sell, how they sell it, whatever move it was, what move to sell the best, what move to give it a stiff forearm. Just imagine if somebody in real life grabbed you by the hair and just forearmed you right alongside of your head. How would you feel?
Right.
Well,
yeah.
you gotta project that in the ring so they think, oh my God.
Yeah.
It was like William Regal, that uppercut punch he used to do.
But Rico, even beyond that, wrestle for your character. If you're the stylist, how's a stylist going to move? Martin, if you're you, how are you going to move? I'm me. How am I going to move? Am I going to do the same moves as a guy who's friggin' AJ Styles? Absolutely not. Am I going to wrestle at his speed? No. So that's the beauty of what they're missing now, these kids. They're all a carbon copy of each other. Martin, we talked about this.
Yeah.
You got to be original. And like I said, that's what I thought of in the tanning bed. What is this image consultant? What is the stylist? Can he defend himself? And then that's when my martial arts background came into play. Yeah. Nobody else was doing all. I mean, the super kick, everyone, but nobody did the spinning heel kick, the step over donkey kick, the double kick, and the jumping itsuguri in the ring.
Sadly, the super kick now has been over abused by the middle-aged bucks. So,
it was starting to get overused the last year of my contract with WWE.
Yeah,
everybody started throwing them. Like I said, the only time we were told not to chop if Ric Flair was going to be in that segment. So let's get to that super chat. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, we'll get to the super chat right here from Chris. He says right here, another one of our dear fans right here who use the super chats. Rico, I found a satellite feed video of a Raw November 11th, 2001, where a dark match you had with Sean Stasiak versus Orton, Ron Waterman. Any memories of that, Rico?
Oh yeah. I remember that. And the goofy music they played when we came out. Howard Finkel was in the ring, I think. And before that match, it was Randy Orton and I against Brock and Waterman, and Randy and I went over on Brock and Waterman, which totally shocked the audience.
Yeah.
So I think I'm one of 21 people that have ever beaten Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, look at that.
That's pretty impressive, my man, because I don't know. I mean, this weekend.
I did,
go ahead.
Randy gave him the drop kick where he flipped over. Brock took a spill over the top rope into the floor, and Waterman was down. So I told Randy go up to the corner, and I did from inside the ring. I jumped over and did a flying splash on Brock on the ground. That was a good one.
Wow.
Stasiak was my partner. I can't remember who went over, but it was. I liked working with Randy. And Ron, because we came up together. Mm-hmm. Stasiak was my partner. I never worked with him, so he was more veteran than any of us. But it was a good match. It got the crowd going. I didn't know the date. Thank you, Super Chatter, for making me feel a lot older.
It was yesterday, man. The decades in the 2000s have never changed. Everything's the same.
Hold on, I got to fix my dentures.
Oh, come on.
There we are. I'm going to get my walker. I got to go pee-pee.
That's a good one, Rico. No, you don't, my man. You are in fantastic shape, my man, and you're just brimming with youth right now. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, Rico is 64 and a half. And that just goes to show you what hard work, exercise, living a healthy lifestyle does. You got to be healthy, ladies and gentlemen. We want the best for each and every one of you. I see somebody trying to ask comments here in the comments section. If you want to ask a question, if you want us to address it, you have to use a super chat. Them's are the rules of live streams. It's been going for a long time. We do it here. We do it on the Cafe de Rene. So that's just them rules. That's the fair play. Or you become a channel member. You hit that join button for just $4.99 a month, and then you'll get your question answered every single time on every single live stream podcast. I think we've covered quite a bit about the World Whining Entertainment and Tony Khan's playpen. So I think now we should go into our JCW review because, Rico, this is the only leader in sports entertainment left by the man himself, Vince Russo.
It's going to succeed.
Yeah,
it's going to succeed. I know they're going to surpass TNA, and it's not much of a run, and it's kind of below Vince. But AEW, they're not going to have nothing on Vince Russo. I've talked to the guy. We think alike. He told me about my character. He knew all about me.
Yeah,
knew everything, and that was kind of a shocker. It humbled me. Like, wait a minute, you worked for the other company. I never got to work with you, And I told you before I was going to jump ship to WCW because WWE wasn't calling me up fast enough.
Right.
And I almost went, and I was talking to an insider. I'm sure he was talking to people over there. And then a couple of weeks later, Shane McMahon appears in Florida, and they took over.
Yeah.
So, but with Vince Russo behind the wheel on this one, because he will take total control. He won't put up with the bull crap, and he likes his matches a certain way. He does tell a story. I think that JCW has got a prize in Vince Russo.
Absolutely. Well, Rico, we're going to hear a little bit about what happened last week. One of our dear contributors, Muhammad, he's in the chat right now. Muhammad has been writing us reviews. This man is a professional writer by trade. Honestly, if there were wrestling magazines, if we had our Masters of Wrestling magazine out, by the way, that's a pitch to any multi-millionaire investor out there. If you want to come on board and invest in us, we want that magazine out. We will tell it the way that it truly is, and we will bring back in those lapsed wrestling fans. But nonetheless, Muhammad has that review for us. Martin has the pleasure of reading that out to us. So let's get in. What took place last week? Give us little breaks in between so we can deliberate.
Okay, so I do apologize. I haven't actually seen this week's, I haven't seen this show yet, but he's broken it down great. So, JCW episode review, episode thesis, fast, story-heavy episode that advanced the title picture and the mystery music ICP tease. Messy in spots, but always moving forward. The show opens with Russo and Vito in the ring. Russo holding the JCW title. We're in Denver, Russo's hometown, so the crowd is loud right away. Commentary mentions Cardona felt more comfortable elsewhere. I'll be honest, I've never been a Cardona guy, and he always felt like a weird fit in JCW. He belongs in the WWE system with a polished, generic A-man who is basically fired from WWE, went to AWC, had nowhere else to go, and basically flopped miserably there, but now he's trying to get back relevant, saying that taking shots of AJ Styles, a man who just retired from WWE in one of the most worst send-offs you could ever imagine, everyone knew it was going to flop. They knew he was going to They knew he was going to go out. So who gives a crap when it actually happens?
Yeah, exactly.
So Cardona's just trying to latch on to, just again, Muhammad here has just basically absolutely buried Cardona. And again, I like Matt Cardona. Mm-hmm. Do I think he's the perfect guy to have in that system?
Yeah.
And again, that's for me. He should just be there,
But here's the thing: we're going to take a little pause. We got a super chat.
Take a pause there. Yep.
Okay, so Matt Cardona, Rico. If you don't know, if you're not familiar, he's a YouTube guy. He got fired from WWE. Never made it up there. Never more than an Intercontinental Champion at best. I'm sure the guy's a great guy in real life. I'm talking about his character. He went away. He's made money on the indies. Made money. He collects action figures and stuff and resells them. He's got a podcast, successful, so he's making money. Vince Russo pulls him out of the Bush Leagues, brings him back to JCW, makes him world champion as he's coming up, okay? So he's putting him in that main event spot, okay? Then all of a sudden, after he wins the belt on JCW, my Uncle Paul goes and poaches him from Vince Russo. Signs him to a contract immediately. Pulls him straight away, so he has to give the belt to Russo. Russo has to think quick on his feet. How am I going to spin this? He does an A-class job because the man is a professional. He's a writer. He knows exactly. He takes shot at my Uncle Paul. Brilliant. The Monday Night Wars.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I remember that.
So, but my thing is this. WWE have brought him back. They're going to saddle him in the same position he was in before, right? He's already got money. It's not like he needs any more. He goes back there. This could have been his shot. He could have become a real main eventer for the first time in his life. And, hey, he went to bed and jumped ship. But anyway, we got this super chat right here I want to bring up on the screen. Thank you for using the super chat. Well, I may be thanking you too soon because I want to hear what your question is first. What's the difference between JCW and GCW? They both do good things for shock value, and they did a show together too. Okay, well, I got my opinions about JCW, and I don't even think apples and oranges. You can't even compare that to JCW because one is in the Bush Leagues. The other one is a tremendous promotion with Vince Russo at the helm who's got storylines. But, Martin, what's the difference in your eyes?
The great thing with GCW, I'm going to start with them. They were the first ones to do the blood sport approach to a wrestling show, which is when they took the ropes down and it was just, so they made it look like the Kumite from the old blood sport movie.
So basically not pro wrestling, but continue, Mark.
The Jean-Claude Van Damme, right?
Yeah, so not wrestling. Continue.
Okay, hang on. I thought that was a great experiment to run because from the first one that they did to the second one, the audience grew. And that at the end of the day, as a promoter, that is what you want. You want to draw more fans in. I know they do. They have a lot of focus on death matches, but they also have a strong focus on straight wrestling matches. They're one of the largest independent companies because they run a lot of shows. And, there's a lot of people there that I know and that I've been acquaintances with that are working a really good schedule and they're getting out there. A lot of guys from GCW have been signed to AEW, which is testament to the fact that they're getting reps and they're getting better each time. So I can't really fault it from that. In terms of it being the same,
question for you,
ACW is way more storyline driven than GCW.
Got a question for you, Martin.
Okay.
These JCW people have only been signed to AEW. Have they ever been to the big time, which is WWE, from JCW?
No, again, because you got to remember it's only now.
Sorry, not JCW, GCW. I want to correct that.
What you have
GCW.
to remember now is it's only the last month or so where the door has opened up to finally, we need to actually look at wrestlers to be able to sign, not athletes that we had on a NIL program. Yeah. So that door for wrestlers to get picked up by WWE, that's been closed for about a year and a half. It's been closed. They've only been looking for, they have Hunter did his whole thing where it was the NIL program, which is basically all the athletes that didn't make it to the NFL or the NBA or hockey or basket or, whatever sport they were in college for. He opened up a program where it's like, well, we kind of like you, come try out. Okay, cool. Finish college. You can then come work for us and start training. Yeah. So it's only really been the last month or so that's been a thing that they're now looking for wrestlers again. Right. Funny that a wrestling company looking for wrestlers. I digress. So some of the guys that they have picked, I know for a fact with the guy, one of the guys that is scouting talent would have wanted to snap them up in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. Because they're good and they are good, they haven't worked out who they are yet. But when it comes down to, okay, do we have guys that could potentially get to that point? 1,000%. So,
but Martin, GCW is not sports entertainment.
No, it's not sports entertainment.
It is not. So again, the answer to the question, you cannot compare GCW to JCW because JCW is leaps and bounds ahead of it because it's sports entertainment and it's character.
JCW is story driven and character driven. And at the end of the day, that's going to hook the casual fan in that doesn't watch wrestling each week and doesn't follow it. You know, the dad that is going to bring his 3 kids and his wife out for a good night out. Those are the people that JCW are going to bring in.
Yeah. Plus, you don't have Vince Russo in your company, so good luck to you. Yeah. But anyway, Rico, so this is the opening segment. You've already got Vince in the ring. He's already used the situation to cut him.
Sorry, just to cut you off. I think there was a few typos on that. He actually gets into the main crux of it in the next thing, so it'll make more sense.
Okay.
Okay, so Russo kicks off with major announcements. He says the title is vacated because Cardona jumped ship. Then Russo goes full scorched earth. He says he'd be a better champion than CM Punk and wouldn't need to wrestle in a T-shirt at 50 years old.
Brilliant.
He even throws in a Triple H purged our champion line and then immediately thanks Cardona for being a great champ. Total Bash at the Beach 2000 vibes, like a worked shoot inside a shoot.
Rico, now you're watching this at home. Now a wrestling show starts like that. What are you thinking, my man?
I'm reliving the Raw WCW, Raw Nitro Wars.
Yeah, yeah. And it feels good, doesn't it?
It's creating intrigue. Like, what's next? What's next?
Yeah. And Russo did it once. He'll do it again. He'll bypass.
Yeah, he's going to do it. Okay, Martin, what is your next part here? Because Muhammad tried to get this.
Okay, I'm just going to read this one real quick because this is still on the on that opening segment. The crowd interaction is fantastic. Russo hitting them with "You kiss your mothers with that mouth" never gets old. He makes an executive decision. Next week, it's Storm versus Anderson to crown a new champion. He also recaps last week's chaos with Vampiro, Madman Pondo, and Moshpit Mike, and says Vamp and Pondo are both fired for their actions. So now he's bringing in the previous week to catch everyone up, which they don't do at all anymore.
Yeah. He's doing a recap as well, Rico. Can you believe that? He's keeping you a part of the story. Yeah.
Yep.
So what else you got there, Martin?
Okay. There's a segment with Jasmine St. Clair, which ties into Big Vito, and eventually Vito fires back with one of those wild old school insults, calling her a carnival hussy and dropping a Holland tunnel line that, you can imagine the rest. They settle on a Sicilian street fight, Vito versus Congo Kong. Vito wants the match there and then. Russo shuts it down, and we keep teasing the mystery, music, graphics that keep hitting, clearly building toward ICP involvement. So that whole segment, there is multiple stories and there's mystery tie-ins. So there's like 3 storylines going on in one segment.
Yeah.
Boy, that's more storylines than WWE has in one show.
In the entire year. Yeah.
And AEW combined, actually, right? for that point. Okay. Continue, Martin.
And again, so overall, great opening segment. It set up next week's title match, a new number 1 contender, tonight's main event, and advanced other angles without feeling cluttered.
Sounds already like something I want to watch.
That's pro wrestling.
Sounds like pro wrestling, Rico. So again, this is how Vince Russo is opening the show each and every week. He's keeping you engaged. He's giving you the overall plot of the story. And again, I think that right there says everything right there about the difference between JCW and GCW, the difference between JCW and WWE. If you're a lapsed wrestling fan, and there are millions of them, Rico, I gave the stats. I've exposed the stats. Some 12, 13 million fans who used to tune in every week to see WCW and WWF on Monday nights have gone. They are no longer here. So where are they? And people argue and but the world's different now and it's streaming and no, that's just some BS excuse. If you're that good, you're going to find a place to watch it live every week like we used to. So no, that's a bogus lie. Do not believe that, students. That's just made up, basically horse shit, for the lack of a better word. Anyway, Martin, what else we got?
Well, wait a second.
Please.
I got to go do my thing. You know what the time is.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Got to turn cowboy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Yeah.
Rico, Martin and I will continue the JCW review and continue to deliberate on that. Rico will be joining us hopefully again next week. Rico, hopefully we'll be getting some styling episodes in the can if everything goes well next week. So make sure you tune in for that. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit like, share with your friends and family. And Rico, we want to thank you for taking a little bit of your time for joining us this week. I love you, brother. God bless.
From me and my water children, and to all the fans that were writing comments, thank you very much. I was looking at them as we were going, but as the master says, we can't answer unless you do super chat. I appreciate all the comments and love you all my heart. Thank you for remembering what I did and what I'm about to do. We don't know.
We don't know.
You don't know. So stay tuned. All right, I'm going to go take care of my horses, my dogs, and my chickens. So
That's
up
awesome.
to the Ponderosa.
God bless
This is
you, Rico.
Rico.
God
the
bless Rico.
stylist,
Thank you so much.
signing off.
All right. Awesome, Rico. We'll see you on the next one, brother.
All
God
right.
bless.
Take
All
it
right.
easy.
All right, students, if you're still there, if you're still watching, Martin and I are going to carry the rest of this broadcast here with the remainder of the JCW. What were the juiciest parts in JCW this week?
Yeah,
What you
okay,
see
so
there, Martin?
after the start of that, which obviously is a great segment by the sounds of it, you have Facade versus Ninja Mac because they're carrying on their best of three. Again, those two guys are fantastic, and I think that is a good match. That's a good match to have, like the fast-paced cruiserweight style stuff. That's a good match to have to break up, okay, now we've got story. Now we've got a fast-paced match so we can get everyone back up. It then goes to a backstage segment. Russo gets scolded by Haley J and tells Danny Moe to control her. Vito has a funny bit with the clowns, picks up on their slang, finds Italian wristbands, and then the mystery music hits again, and he loses it on the cameraman. So again, there's more storylines being layered and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We then get into PCO's debut, Pierre-Carl Ouellet. I'm a huge PCO fan. I was very, very privileged to be able to work him back in Germany in 2006 or 7.
Okay.
An absolute gentleman, and just his career and his history and body of work speaks for itself.
Did you meet his great grandfather, the pirate Jean-Pierre Lafitte?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, not. No, because I missed walking the plank to the ship, so I didn't get a chance to see him. Okay, where are we? And then you've got a Mr. Anderson tune-up section. He just so Mr. Anderson comes out and says Storm is off filming a movie, but he's here and wants a match. This is very interesting. So he faces local talent, Hunter Gray. Anderson wins with a mic check, setting up the big match next week against Storm to crown a new champion. So again, this is a match just to further that Mr. Anderson is coming. Very interesting. The guy's name's Hunter.
Yes, Hunter. Interesting. I'm going hunting later, actually. Yes, Crush, brah. I believe this is a Crush fan. Great performer. Why was Renee on the thumbnail? Well, Rene Dupree was meant to be joining us today, but he had an emergency situation that came up. It pulled him aside. He will be with us next week. So that's why, of course, I was busy this afternoon. I did not have chance to change the thumbnail, but it will be changed a little bit later on today. But yeah, so he will be joining us next week. And of course, I will be with him over on the Café de Rene tomorrow, in fact. So anyway, for that side.
Excellent.
All right.
So we have the Mr. Anderson tune-up, then we have the women's gauntlet match. And again, these matches are strategically placed in the show so that it's not just character, and then the crowd's going to be like, oh, so the way that reading this and then seeing how it's all putting in, the whole show is a roller coaster. And guess what? That's exactly what a wrestling match is supposed to be. We're supposed to take the crowd on a journey on, ups and downs and dips and dives, just because it's in the match doesn't mean the entire show can't be like that. You know, that's what wrote me in. You know, you'd have the highs and the lows and the oohs and the ahs. That's pro wrestling, you know.
That is pro wrestling, yeah.
Okay, so we go from the women's gauntlet match, and then we get to the backstage segment. Again, further in the storyline, the Clowns are backstage and upset that their wallet has been stolen. So I'm assuming Big Vito may or may not have been a pickpocket. Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, this is where I'm super intrigued, and I think this can only be a win for JCW. The Coach's Corner debut. We get the debut of the Coach's Corner with Jonathan Coachman.
Brilliant.
Coach and Russo have a very successful YouTube show, so it was a matter of time before Coach ended up on JCW. He seems to be setting up an angle with Willie Mack. Honestly, I hope the rest of Russo's other colleagues find their way onto the show, like Ben Haman, Stevie Richards, Stevie Ray, and EC3.
I tell you, my man, I got to stop you right there. Sky's the limit for JCW, my man. This is the thing that professional wrestling has needed for 20 years, my man. Yeah. 20 years. The coach, Jonathan Coachman, a great speaker, great voice, great at improv, great at being present in the moment, great character. He served very well in the WWE. A lot of these places missed the boat. WWE missed the boat with him. AEW could have done something. They missed the boat. Like I said, JCW, that like our dear friend Matt Bannister, our channel member, just said, JCW roster is stacking. It is stacking, my man. I mean, it's going to continue stacking, and I'm telling you now, it's going to be the place. It's going to be it is the hottest ticket in town. I've been saying it, and the proof is in the pudding. We're just reading you this, and it just sounds amazing.
Yeah,
sounds amazing, Martin.
And then we get into a number one contenders for the ladder match, just to get highlights of it. So obviously they're still carrying on the storyline between Kerry Morton and Matt Cross.
Yeah.
Because obviously we had this segment where Caleb Conley allegedly or not hired Matt Cross to take out Kerry Morton in their match, and so that Caleb could win. And then they had the Backstreet Brawl a week or two before. I do apologize if my timing's out. Anyway, in this match, eventually Matt Cross gets involved, and the finish creates multiple angles. Jeeves costs the match for Conley, Cross costs the match for Morton, and Cocaine wins the match. So now we've just segued. We've got different feuds to start, different storylines to start. From a storytelling perspective, it's smart. You get at least 3 directions out of one match. Conley and Jeeves tension, Cross and Morton heat, Cocaine is the new contender. Personally, I would have preferred Morton winning. He feels like the biggest star and easier to market. Cocaine's gimmick isn't exactly getting him poached by WWE, and I really hope he doesn't end up champion. I kind of agree with that. Cocaine is kind of pigeonholed in that's all he can do. I'm sure I've never met the guy. I'm sure that's not all he's got in his bag of tricks, but I'm just sure this was something that is an instant hook somewhere to get him noticed and to get him over. So time will tell with that. And then there's a few bits before the main event. Vito takes out one of the clowns in the back. You've got Kerry Morton looking for Matt Cross, and Russo scolds someone and says, "You have till next week to deliver." So I'm assuming that is building on the backstage shot we saw of Russo screaming at someone behind a half closed door or ajar. So again, building layers, building storylines, building talent, creating intrigue. It's just again, I haven't seen this particular episode, but now I want to watch it because it's I'm reading this, and to take the wrestler out of me and be a wrestling fan, this is intriguing.
Yeah, it's very intriguing. I did watch it, myself.
Yeah, I do apologize. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, and then we've got and then after that, you got the main event, which is the Sicilian Street Fight, which is Big Vito versus Congo Kong. To get to the basic gist of it, so by the looks of it, Vito had PCO come out and help him win the match and cost him the match.
Very good.
As Vito hands money to PCO as a thank you, and the mystery, music, and graphics go off again to an incensed Vito. Dombrowski calls it chicken hunting. I guess it's an ICP staple, but I'm looking forward to finding out as the show goes off the air. So the show goes off the air with an introduction and distill that mystery of who is that.
Yeah,
It's a cliffhanger. Guess what? If you want to find out, you got to come back next week.
Yeah, exactly. You got to come back. I got to bring this up on the screen because we do have a great supporter. I see this supporter also on Instagram. I believe they're one of our followers on Instagram. I want to bring her up now. Again, they have not done a super chat, but this fan gives us a lot of good comments here. Got a good praise, so I got to bring up on the screen. Zilla, hi to my favorite wrestlers of all time, the Master Amir, and hi to Martin Stone. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I've seen you in the Instagram. I've seen you in our feeds here. This is the appreciation. This is what we like to see. This is a true member. So this is a true member of the Masters of Wrestling. Of course, if you're, we'll keep you posted on any of our shows, the ones that Martin and I are going to do. So if you happen to be there, make sure you find your way over. We'll give you some free 8x10s, signed 8x10s. Memorabilia right there. Thank you so much for that. That's very
much
nice.
Appreciated. Nice, I really do appreciate that.
Very nice, Martin, right there. We got and again, we want to thank you for being our valuable extended members of our family here on the Masters of Wrestling. You want to become a master of professional wrestling, then you need to stick around with us. You need to make sure that you smash that subscribe button. You need to make sure that you tune in, week out, check out all our videos, make sure you keep up to date with what we're doing. Make sure you use those super chats. Write us a question. Let us know what you want to answer. We're still going to be here for another 5 minutes or so. So if you got any last minute questions, any of you, use that super chat or become a channel member. We'll see you pop up. If we do, it'll announce it to me here in the comments. It's just $4.99 a month, price of a cup of coffee. It's all it's going to cost you. You'll get members only videos, which we got a hot one coming out this week. Martin and I, oh my gosh. You want to know about the real Ava, Dwayne's daughter, and her exit from WWE? You're not going to want to miss that because that's not going to be in the free section. That's going to be in the members only section. So join and become a channel member. Step out of the shadows. Step into the spotlight. Put your cup of coffee into the Masters of Wrestling. Martin, I think it's safe to say that JCW has just leapfrogged over every single other mainstream professional wrestling company. They are better than WWE. They're better than AEW. They're better than TNA. Hands down. Yeah. This is what brought us to the dance. This type of storytelling, this type of entertainment. That's what brought us to the dance.
It was just like I can still remember the nights sitting there watching Raw on Sky Sports back home in England and being glued to it. And just, starting my training and then looking at that being like, that's the place I want to work for. Just it's captivating. It's captivating TV.
But Martin, wasn't it the same for all of us? And again, that was like one of the things that, when Uncle Paul invited me to come up there, I know you've been invited back to the Great White North. We both have by Uncle Paul. But when that offer came, it was denied. It was turned down by us because at the end of the day, this was not the company that you and I dreamed of working for.
No.
It was not it.
No.
We dreamed of working for that company that was telling those stories. And who was at the helm of that time? Vince Russo and Vince McMahon. That's the company we dreamed of working for. And I concur. I was watching it along with you, my man. I was watching it along with you. Sky Sports, it was must-see TV on a Friday night. It was 10 p.m. for us, 10 p.m. on a Friday night.
Even my mum was hooked to it.
Yeah.
Like she was like, oh, did you set the tape record up to tape it for me? Like even my mum was like hooked on it,
Yeah.
It was must-see TV.
It is.
It's not that just wrestling is not must-see TV anymore. It's not. And that's not a knock on any of the performers.
No.
It's that like just I don't know if it's just this generation was I can only watch something in like 20 seconds on clips or just, people just don't have the writing comprehension or just people were out of the loop of what's going to keep mainstream audiences involved. And just, again, as we've said time and time again, more than likely down to you have a booker and a promoter that wants to book wrestling matches, not stories.
Exactly. And that's
You know?
the idiocy. Trust me, you and I have seen them all. We've seen a lot of promoters like that. We've seen a lot of people like that. They're absolutely clueless. They focus on the moves and the matches. They forget about the story. They forget about the promos. These people, in my mind, are illiterate professional wrestling personalities. They are illiterate. They have no clue, no concept, and that's why they remain at the bottom of the barrel and not at the top of the food chain. And the only reason, students, that those other companies at the top of the food chain right now, quite frankly, it was built upon the shoulders of previous giants, not them. If they were building it right now without the likes of the past, like a Hulk Hogan or a Sting or a Macho Man, Andre the Giant, Vince McMahon, all these legendary people, and they were building from ground up now, Martin,
Nope.
they wouldn't be going anywhere. And the only reason, with AEW, again, God bless him, is he has a lot of money, Tony Khan, and he's spreading the wealth, and that's what brought them to the dance. If they were building just on sheer ticket sales and whatnot, I'm telling you, my man, whole different story. Wouldn't even be in the ball game. Wouldn't be there. It takes storytelling talent. It takes TV producers. It takes a man at the helm that knows what he's doing. And like we said about JCW, Vince Russo is that man. Students, we want to thank you for joining us on this episode. If you haven't already, I don't know what you're waiting for. Step out of the shadows. Smash that damn subscribe button. Smash it. Well, it's not a damn subscribe button. Forgive me. Smash that subscribe button. I got a little bit heated
break
there.
your keyboards, people.
Yeah, don't break your keyboard. It's a blessing to have a button to be able to smash. But yeah, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, share with your friends and family, get the word out about Masters of Wrestling. And like I said, any of you find yourself in the unfortunate situation of being in a WWE audience, find the camera. You'll see it on the side of the arena where there's no seats. Seats are available everywhere. Stare in that camera, hold up that sign, say Corporate Man, CM Punk, new name, Corporate Man. And if you do it, and if it gets on camera, send it in to us, because I want to debut it, and I want to say who that was and give you a shout out right here on the air. Yep. Martin, we got a lot of good stuff coming up. You and I are going to record some pre-recorded segments this week. Yep. We're going to record our members only section that only members can see.
That's I've been kind of timid thus far, but the gloves are off now, so become a member and you will get all the details.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Martin was there. He worked with NXT WWE. He was there for what, 4 or 5 years, Martin?
2018 until 2022. So I heard a lot of backstage stuff. And again, this is just people talking. I never used to run my mouth. I never used to say much. I just used to sit and listen. And boy, have I got some doozies for everyone.
The gloves are off, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we've got the Ultimate Truth podcast spearheading stories about the Ultimate Warrior. We've got guests galore lined up for you. People that worked with the Ultimate Warrior, who knew the Ultimate Warrior, and who are telling a far different story than what has been painted about the man, Jim Hellwig, the Ultimate Warrior. The man was excellent at what he did, and we're going to highlight that in that series, and I'm having a lot of fun with it too, so make sure you go over and check out those episodes. You will not be disappointed. But from the fixer himself, Mr. Martin Stone, and from myself, the master, Emir, we want to thank you. I want to thank our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, for without him, I wouldn't even be doing this. Without him, none of this would be possible. So we want to give glory to him first and foremost. Nothing is greater than that. But until next week, everybody, have a good, safe week. We'll see you again live on Tuesday. God bless.
Students, your time has come. I have decided that it's time to share some of my knowledge with you. That's right. Do you want to become a true, legendary professional wrestling character? Do you want to learn how to project your voice, to enunciate, to come up with the greatest promos that you possibly could? Then you need to join me each and every week for just $50 I am hosting a masterclass on Zoom. That's right. You don't have to travel. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. I will teach you how to become the greatest character you can be. I will help you discover who you truly are. I will help you with taglines, promos, etc., etc. Join me for just $50 a week in a masterclass of wrestling character development. There's a reason they call us the masters of wrestling.